Good morning and welcome to the DFS Army YouTube channel. I am Razzle11, or on Twitter you can find me at Razzle11Grinds. Going to take a look at the pitching today, Friday the 5th of May. I believe we have a 12 game main slate, or is it 11 game? A little scattered this morning. 11 game main slate. And as always, I'm going to focus on DraftKings since that is where my play happens a majority of the time. Uh, Kind of looking at the weather in my other monitor here. The best environments for hitting happen to be on the turbo slate. So we're going to miss those games on the main slate, which is a little annoying. But um, so we're going to have to dig in, I guess, a little more. I guess getting started here at the top, Clayton Kershaw at 10.8 seems a little aggressive. I know he's coming off of a dominant performance. He's dominant in two out of his last three, really. The upside is definitely there. Tough opponent, San Diego, but I think he traditionally has fared really well against San Diego. But still, at 10.8K, it's a little pricey. I will obviously keep him in my pool just because you know half of his starts this year have gone for 31 plus DK points, which is a really strong outing. So gonna have to keep him in, but man, it's tough. Zach Wheeler, you know how I've focused on trying to fade most of the Philly pitching. Wheeler's looked really good the last two starts. Pitching at home, where he's been strongest this season, I'm probably gonna have to be in on him, but the Boston lineup has picked it up a bit. The left-handed bats in Boston are kind of rolling right now, especially Yoshida, Duran, Verdugo. Devers has been a little cold, but Yoshida has been absolutely on fire. That's kind of a worrisome spot, similar to the Kershaw. The two guys at the top are in some spots that I could see it going, pretty badly for them, but they offer such upside that I think we have to keep them in our pools. Senga, I hate paying over 10K for him. Ton of walks. He can have home run issues. Doesn't doesn't really get out of games cleanly, but Colorado coming out of Coors feels like a great spot for him, if I'm being honest. Uh, had his last scheduled start pushed back, I guess. He hasn't pitched since the 26th, which is probably a good thing because the Japanese league pitchers are used to pitching every 6 days. Um, and that's kind of what he's been at to begin this season is every 6 days. But building in those extra couple days of rest, I think, can help him. Uh, the opponent can definitely help him. I'm very interested, but again, with him, it's just he's super volatile, not the matchup with these guys. He's just extremely volatile overall. As you see, we have a ton of high price guys. There's seven guys at 9,300 and above, but none of them are in slam dunk spots, which is, make things a little frustrating. So we're gonna have to spend some extra time today digging in as the day goes on and locating some weak spots in lineups. Luis Castillo definitely going to be an option for me. I know Houston by name is a tougher team. He hasn't been as strong the last couple starts, but I mean, we just have ridiculous upside. He's been absolutely ridiculous at home this year, so we definitely have to consider him. Now we're gonna get to my first, I guess, fade of the slate. It's gonna be Yu Darvish. I have to dig into his history against the Dodgers, but I just not overly excited about using Yu Darvish. Uh, Three of his five starts, he's gone for 5Ks or less. Two of those three starts, he had 4+ walks. I just It's just not somebody I want to pay 9,800 for in this matchup, to be honest. So he's going to be my first fade on the list today, or the first official fade. Um, I have to dig in more on some of these other guys, these expensive guys, throughout the day, based on lineup. Uh, Christian Javier, definitely somebody I want to use. He's been really strong in his road starts this year, but he has given up the home runs, which do happen when you're a fly ball pitcher. But Seattle does strike out quite a bit. Uh, J Rod isn't completely healthy. A bunch of the guys in the lineup are struggling mightily. It's going to end up being a pretty solid spot. And this is before digging into how well he fared last year against them. But just on the surface, he's definitely somebody that I am probably going to be higher on than most people. Um, and I can see myself ending up with more of him in my builds than the volatile guys at the top because of their matchup. And we get to my nemesis, Corbin Burns. I want to know where the strikeouts are right now. They should be there, but this matchup provides a lot of strikeout upside. And this is obviously the best atmosphere for a pitcher. It's going to be cold in San Francisco. Um, I guess cold for San Francisco at 55 or so at game time. And obviously, we know the ball just does not carry in this ballpark, especially at night. Burns is going to be one of my favorite GPP plays, and it pains me to say it because we know how much I've tried to put him on the fade list at times this year. He was earlier. Um, Looks to be pitching stronger. He's still not getting the strikeouts that I need. Um, but there's a good chance that he ends up one of my highest owned tonight, and that's scary for me. Skipping down a little bit, I'm gonna skip over Evaldi right now because I've seen some places list Dane Dunning as starting, so I need to dig in a little more to the Ranger plans. If Evaldi is starting, sure, there's upside, but it's the Angels, and I don't really want to pick on the Angels right now. But we'll have to wait and see. Jordan Montgomery against the Tigers. We noticed that Montgomery's not a huge K guy overall, but there are certain matchups where he gets K boosts in. San Francisco, Milwaukee. Shocked a little bit with the LA Dodger K numbers, but this is another spot where I think he gets a bit of a K boost. We get him at a discount compared to what he was against the Dodgers, which is shocking. So Jordan Montgomery is going to be somebody I'm very interested in, even with how much St. Louis has been struggling. I think it's a chance for him to come out and kind of help the team out a bit. Uh, Kind of skipping over Max Fried right now. The only reason I'm going to skip over him is because there's some potential weather and I need to learn more about the timing. So if you want to learn about what I have to say about Max Fried, definitely hit us up in Discord. Uh, Join up to DFS Army. You get my updates throughout the day. But uh, Max Fried is always in play as long as the game is clean. Baltimore does have some guys that kill left-handed pitching, so there's worries there. But that price tag is really intriguing for his upside. Chris Sale. I don't really know what to do with Sale anymore. He's just so all over the place. Um, Probably have to consider him against Philadelphia. They have some left-handed bats in the lineup, so there are some Ks in that area. Um, but I just, man, it's super volatile. Not a safe play by any means. Probably more of a 15 to 20% play on my DK builds. But man, it's always worrisome. Another name, Merrill Kelly, might be somebody that we need to consider pitching at home at 6,800 against Washington. He hasn't been the greatest. Half of his starts have been pretty rough. he's having issues with walks this year, which drive me absolutely nuts. But he's coming off a very good start in Colorado, so I'm really intrigued by the way he's thrown the ball. Three out of his last four starts, but 6,800 against Washington seems really interesting. So he might be the cheaper guy that I end up on. And then, I mean, Josiah Gray's thrown the ball extremely well, so I'm gonna have some interest. But I'm also a fan of Arizona, so it's tough. Kind of depends on, a guy like Corbin Carroll and his status. If he's back, then maybe I come off of Gray a bit. Um, Matthew Boyd, another one that I'm considering, but probably won't get there. Uh, the nice thing is St. Louis is struggling so much right now that even a lefty against them might have some success. But I think I'm kind of fading some of these other guys. Brad Keller against Oakland, great matchup, but he's just been atrocious. He's just walking guys left and right, and I don't want that. Especially on DraftKings where it's an efficiency site. Like that last start worked out all right for FanDuel purposes, but that's not working out for DraftKings. So I just don't like it. The game has a pretty high total, which is kind of shocking between two teams that aren't very good. Um, One other guy that's probably going to make my fade list today is Bailey Ober. I like him. I'm a Twins fan. He's thrown the ball pretty well. I just don't really like the matchup against Cleveland. Uh, K numbers probably aren't going to be there. So he's probably going to walk a few guys, scatter some hits in. Like efficiency wise, I just don't really like it. Uh, as a fly ball pitcher against a team that has a bunch of ground ball hitters, those usually lead to line drives, and there's some issues there. So Ober, as much as I hate to go that road, is probably going to end up on my fade list as well. So there we have it. Kind of a first look thoughts on the pitching slate. Little longer video today. If you like what I keep bringing to you, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, turn notifications on. Really helps us out. Helps me out. Helps DFS Army out. Gets the content out to more people. And if you want to join us and see what we're all about at DFS Army, I'll put links in the description below. You can use promo code RAZ, R-A-Z, for 10% off your monthly membership. And as always, best of luck, everybody.